Norse geography did not produce one northern world, but three overlapping theaters. Westward, open ocean rewarded cargo capacity, navigation, and durable colonial households. Southward, narrow seas placed Scandinavian crews beside kingdoms, monasteries, and markets. Eastward, rivers turned portages and tribute corridors toward the Baltic and beyond. These directions were not borders, and travelers frequently crossed between them. Yet each landscape imposed different costs, seasons, partners, and political opportunities. The resulting patterns became Norwegian, Danish, and Swedish only gradually. Modern national colors, therefore, conceal a much less orderly early medieval map. Begin along Norway's coast, where mountains press settlements toward navigable water. Deep inlets offered sheltered approaches, while islands provided stepping stones between exposed passages. Arable ground was scattered, encouraging households to combine farming, fishing, and exchange. Coastal sailing connected districts that difficult overland routes kept comparatively distant. This maritime orientation opened a chain toward Shetland, Orkney, and the Hebrides. From those islands, voyages could continue toward Ireland, Iceland, and Atlantic settlements. Norwegian-linked expansion was never simply a flight from poor soil. Local competition, portable wealth, family strategy, and opportunity also shaped departures. Ship burials at Oseberg and Gokstad reveal concentrated resources in southeastern Norway. Their vessels display maritime skill, but exceptional graves cannot represent every household. Western voyages depended upon ordinary production hidden behind spectacular surviving ships. Woodlands supplied hull timber, farms raised livestock, and wool became sailcloth. Crews also needed preserved food, iron fittings, rope, and seasonal labor. Ocean distance favored settlements able to reproduce households, not merely temporary raiding parties. Icelandic archaeology shows farms established within a landscape without indigenous human settlement. Landnámabók preserves later traditions about settlement, useful but not contemporary testimony. Environmental evidence records woodland clearance and grazing after Norse arrival. Those traces reveal colonization as a transformation of land, not an empty adventure. Farther south, Danish waters presented an entirely different geometry. Jutland, Zealand, Funen, and neighboring shores framed short crossings and busy straits. The route between North Sea and Baltic passed through politically valuable chokepoints. Control here meant monitoring merchants, mustering ships, and taxing movement. The Danevirke defended approaches across Schleswig rather than sealing a modern national frontier. Its construction phases show rulers organizing labor across generations. Hedeby prospered near the portage between Baltic and North Sea networks. Craft debris, imported goods, and burials identify a diverse commercial community. Geography placed Danish leaders close to Francia and the English kingdoms. That proximity made raiding, diplomacy, tribute, and conquest recurring alternatives. Frankish annals describe attacks through the concerns of Christian royal courts. Their hostile perspective still records political encounters missing from Scandinavian narratives. The English coastline offered estuaries where fleets could enter settled agricultural regions. River access carried violence inland, but fortified responses increasingly constrained movement. The later 9th century campaigns involved armies wintering, negotiating, and taking territory. Such operations required different logistics from an Atlantic household migration. Rich lowlands could sustain occupation, while existing kingdoms offered targets and institutions. Danish associated power, therefore, developed amid unusually dense political competition. Runestones at Jelling later advertised royal achievement and Christian affiliation. Their messages express claims of authority, not neutral descriptions of unified society. Harold Bluetooth's monument belongs to state formation, not geography acting alone. Still, the Straits made concentrated rule both valuable and strategically possible. Turn east, and Sweden's lake districts face an archipelago-filled Baltic. Lake Mälaren linked inland farms with landing places and emerging commercial centers. Birka occupied an island position suited to controlled exchange and protection. Archaeology there reveals crafts, imported objects, varied burials, and changing connections. No artifact proves that its owner personally traveled to the object's origin. Goods often moved through many hands across linked regional markets. Baltic islands and coastal routes led toward river mouths farther east. From there, travelers entered systems governed by currents, shallows, and portages. The Dnieper and Volga corridors were not continuous watery highways. Boats, cargoes, and sometimes people had to cross dangerous stretches overland. Arabic's silver reached Scandinavian contexts in especially large quantities through Eastern exchange. Coin hoards demonstrate networks, although deposition reasons differ from site to site. The Rus appear in external texts, but their origins remain politically contested. Evidence supports Scandinavian participation alongside Slavic, Finnic, Baltic, and other communities. Eastern movement created mixed settlements and political relationships, not a Swedish overseas empire. Travelers might trade furs, wax, slaves, weapons, and silver through intermediaries. Captivity formed a brutal component of wealth across western and eastern routes. Geography affected which markets were reachable, never making exploitation inevitable. Human choices converted corridors into systems of profit and coercion. The three theaters also shared important technologies and social practices. Clinker-built vessels could serve warfare, transport, fishing, or cargo according to design. Silver circulated as coins, ornaments, and cut pieces across regional boundaries. Marriage, fosterage, exile, service, and enslavement moved individuals between cultural settings. Old Norse speech linked many communities without erasing local identities. Religion likewise varied before conversion and changed unevenly afterward. No mountain, strait, or river assigned a permanent historical destiny. Landscapes offered possibilities, while institutions decided who could exploit them. Norwegian coastal routes encouraged dispersed connections across the North Atlantic. Danish chokepoints rewarded rulers able to organize fleets and command passage. Swedish-facing waterways joined Baltic exchange with demanding eastern river corridors. Those summaries describe tendencies, not exclusive national careers. Norwegian leaders intervened in England, Danish rulers operated in Baltic politics, and Eastern travelers came from several regions. Archaeological distributions resist the clean arrows favored by modern maps. Even the word Viking describes an activity or social role more safely than a people. Regional worlds rested upon farmers, craftspeople, fishers, dependents, and captives. Their indispensable labor made every geographical opportunity materially usable. Coastlines changed sailing calculations through shelter, distance, and available landing places. Straits concentrated traffic where force and taxation could reach it. River systems extended movement while multiplying transfers, negotiations, and risks. This comparison also explains why expansion produced contrasting settlements abroad. Atlantic colonies required livestock, land management, and long-term household reproduction. Conquests near wealthy kingdoms could seize revenue systems already operating. Eastern ventures often depended upon nodal markets and negotiated passage. None of these outcomes followed automatically from a compass direction. Geography worked as a framework within which those forces acquired regional form. Its strongest effect was not creating three separate peoples overnight. Instead, it repeatedly directed effort toward different neighbors and rewards. Over generations, those repeated orientations helped political identities grow more distinct. The evidence remains uneven because texts favor rulers and archaeology preserves selectively. Nevertheless, the broad contrast survives when treated as probability rather than fate. One northern peninsula opened onto three practical worlds of movement. Their seas and rivers did not write history, but they shaped its available grammar.